Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Good morning and welcome to my podcast. I am here to fight CPS with Bob Pace. That's me. I've been on this podcast for over a year, twice a day, two different shows. One at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time, the other one at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There are some exceptions that sometimes I'm on at different times because of other things going on. Like when Vincent Davis has his podcast on Saturday, I like to come on at 8 o'clock in the morning to give people a chance to see his podcast. I don't want to conflict with his podcast and my podcast. And on Sunday, that's my day of church. I come on at 8 o'clock so I can go to church. And next Saturday, I want to come on at 3 o'clock. I haven't got permission yet, but I want to come on at 3 o'clock because I have the state final high school football game. My son's school's in, and so I need to drive further south, so I need some extra time to drive to be there at the game start. Anyway, I'll let you know further in the week on my times, but I'm on 14 times a week, twice a day. I've been doing this for over a year, and I've talked to over 700 people on here. And I've talked to over 600 people here, and I've had over 700 shows that are recorded that you can watch back and so forth. Now, it's a warm welcome. I consider everybody coming here my family. I want to help you. I know how bad and how hard CPS is. I was in the same predicament with CPS. And so I know what you're going through. Now, my case started in 2010, soon after I lost my job through no fault of my own. I was 60 years old at the time, and I had worked for 45 years. I had a beautiful home a mile to the beach, and I live in Surf City, USA, about 3 blocks from the ocean. Now, CPS started harassing me once a week for 5 years. And how it started, and I didn't find out till later, was lay people were calling in false accusations. That's the problem with lay people. They're not trained and they're not professional. And sometimes they use it as retaliation or they get kids from their parents. And so my in-laws, my wife's mother and father, 3 sisters and brother were constantly calling in every week stating stuff that was not true. And I had to defend it. I even showed them my home, and there's nothing they could find. But this went on for 5 years, and they hired the Huntington Beach police. And they had the detective track me down, and then he ordered me to my home and ordered me to open it up. I did not know better. I trusted what the officer was saying, and I trusted, that they'd be fair and honest because my house had been searched before. But unfortunately, they brought out 5 firemen, 2 code enforcement, 3 social workers, 2 uniformed policemen, and the detective that tricked me to open up my home. Now, my home is a quite gorgeous home. My children each had their own bedroom and bathroom. We had a double door bedroom suite with walk-in closets, a jacuzzi, and French doors overlook our swimming pool in the back. We had a rock-in swimming pool with a hidden grotto jacuzzi. Anyway, it was wall-to-wall vacuum cleaning. It was beautiful upstairs and downstairs. Unfortunately, my dad had died recently, and my mom was slowly dying. They had asked me to take their belongings because they wanted to liquidate their home, and they wanted to give the belongings to family and friends. And I didn't have money to put in the storage because, as you say, I lost my job and I had a hefty mortgage payment to pay every month. I had savings, but it didn't last me that long. And then, of course, they found these boxes and furniture stacked in the living room. That was all where they were stacked. And they said, "You're being in danger of the kids. Your negligence." And so they charged with negligence. And the police detective duplicated the same thing. In fact, he added on a charge called sexual charges. I didn't know that they do that MO because they want you to settle, and they give that as a trading card. They give you trading counts. So we had 3 children. I have 6 children. I'm a family of 8, and I have a wife. And I've been married for 42 years. And each of us got charged with 3 counts of negligence and 3 counts of sexual charges. Now, I have no idea what the sexual charges were because there's no sexual charges. That was a ruse that the local police used, or the prosecutor used, to nail you in court. What they do is they negotiate and they keep promises and promises. Finally said, "We'll let the 3 sexual charges go, and we'll let the charges against your wife go, and you accept the 3 charges of negligence." And I plea bargained. That was a mistake because as long as I had these criminal charges, the child protection system had other charges. They had me with neglect our children, my wife and I. And that was wrong, but I had to wait. So I did the best I could do because I wanted to get my family back, because the child protection system's MO is to make lots of money off your children and traffic them into foster care and alienate them from the parents. They're getting $20,000 per child per month from the state for what they were doing. And it was wrong what they're doing. It was wrong what they're doing. And I want to welcome Savannah Vaitia. Good morning. You were on last night, and I appreciate what you did. I've turned in your name. You talked to me last night, and I turned in your name to my show producer, who will line you up with Mr. Davis for the 15 minutes of a private Zoom meeting with him. So I will do that accordingly. But I welcome you, Savannah. Now, as I go along talking, I will put up messages that you can read. That message is how to text message me. And I am open to not only the 50 states in Washington, D.C., I'm open up to the world. This is a worldwide podcast, and I have people from Bangladesh and India and the Middle East and Africa and Europe and North America and South America, and also from New Zealand and Australia across the Pacific. Now, Savannah now has, said, wow, I never met anyone who sees what I see as far as how the system works. And that's sad. I'm so sorry. Yes, it is a bad agency. They are not transparent. It's a money-making agency. They have an assent of 1997 signed into law by Bill Clinton that they get extra money if they put the children into foster care. They don't believe in reunification. A reunification takes too long because the parents got to complete programs and parenting class. So they're very easy to put them into foster care because they get the incentive. I think it's something like $10,000 per child. They get so much money for bonuses and incentive, it's sad. Their main purpose, the child protection system is what I call, is to protect our children from neglect and abuse. But every day I hear of children that are being abused and neglected. Like a child last week, 8-month-old child that was found dead in a ball pit. That's where those colorful balls the kids play in. It was 8 months. They couldn't even walk. And it was cold to touch when the child was found, and the mother was devastated. It was in the hands of CPS, and they allowed that child to be brutally hit and hurt. He died from all kinds of blunt injuries. They don't know if he was thrown around in the pit ball or what, but he's dead. And that's how child protection system takes care of your child. They're supposed to do reunification. If they need to take your child, and the child should only be taken in the time of danger, in the time of danger. And that's what you got to be careful about, the time of danger. Anyway, I really feel for you, all you parents out there going through the mess with CPS. Most of the time, or actually over 99% of the 600 people that have been in here, have said their childs were taken when they were not in danger. My 3 children were taken into CPS and put into danger. They were at school at the time. They took them out of school. In fact, for a week, they did not take them to school. They were put in a shelter, and their idea of education was reading a book. And my 3 kids were highly involved in the STEM program. That's a science class, a technology class, an engineering class, a math program. You know, my 3 children needed to go to their school of origin, but they did nothing. The food was terrible. It was overcrowded, and the shelter was next to the prison of juveniles who had their play area adjacent to the shelter's play area. In fact, there was several beehives that were stinging the children when they went outside to play. It was overcrowded. They couldn't sleep. I got them out of there in a couple days by asking them to stay with my wife's sister and her husband. They thought it'd only be a couple weeks, so they gladly took them in, and then they were safe, and then we could come over and visit them. And that was a nice step at first. But did I know what lied ahead of me? They're very tricky. They lie. They're not transparent. They do retaliate. They're awful. They steal money and they get money. It's really wrong. Now, Savannah says, "That's sad. I'm sorry." Yeah, they took my son. My son had never, ever been in danger. I agree, Savannah. Savannah says they take things upon themselves to do what they want. They don't care to work with the parents. That's why I refuse to even attempt to do work with them and waste my time. You know, it's a hard decision that you have to make, Savannah. It's a hard decision you have to make. My doing the reunification services and cooperating with them got me to where all they would point me is in the same picture either way. Me doing the reunification services just gives them more leverage and things to use against me. I know they have you sign a plan, and in the plan are awful things. Now, I do say you need to get an attorney. That's one of my rules. You need to have an attorney like my attorney, Vincent Davis, who was just on. He briefly spoke. He has a free question answer session on Zoom next Saturday. Every Saturday he has it at 9:30. And that's where he will talk with his insights about how to navigate and how to get your children back from CPS. So it's a 1 hour, 9:30 podcast put on by Mr. Davis. It's a questions answers. You ask a question, he answers. It's a really good podcast. And Vincent is one of the best dependency attorneys around. He has been doing this for 35 years, and he is a trial attorney. He has fought CPS in one cases. In fact, when your case is closed, he'll do civil lawsuits against the agencies. He's one of the few attorneys that will sue CPS and win millions of dollars. His background is dependency law with juvenile and family law. Those three things are very important when you look for an attorney. Your first question should be, are you a family juvenile dependency lawyer that has fought CPS and won cases? If the answer is yes, you go ask the next question. Have you ever sued CPS and went against them in state or federal court? If the answer is yes, you found your attorney. Those are two most important things to weed out all the numbskulls out there that I don't mean to be telling attorneys are numbskulls, but a lot of them are ambulance chasers. A lot of them will take your money and run. And the worst one are the court-appointed attorneys. These people are hoping that CPS should take them because they only attack people that are low income or lost a job, or like in my case. And they take advantage of that because a court-appointed attorney or public defender is only trained in criminal law. They're not trained in dependency, juvenile, or family law. And they have a caseload of 30 more clients. They won't have time to talk to you outside of the court hearing. And when you do talk to them, it's like 5 or 10 minutes. They will not fight for your case because they're looking for the easy way out. They are paid by social services, and they are friends of the court, the judges, the court-appointed attorneys for mom and dad and the children, and then the social services workers, and then the social service attorneys, the clerk, the bailiff, and the judge are all in cahoots. They play golf together, they eat together, they socialize together. Their interest is to have your child as long as possible stay in foster care so they get their $1 trillion business a year. It's money, 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 money. Now, Savannah says, I will try to make it. My brain is just so puzzled. That was only my concern, is how would I sue CPS? But I'm a bit worried if the Fifth Appellate Court is just as corrupt in Bakersfield. So Savannah is from Bakersfield area of California. And that's something you should ask Mr. Davis. You have an appointment with him for 15 minutes. That's one of the things you should ask about the appellate court. But you cannot sue CPS until your case is closed. You cannot sue CPS until your case is closed. I do want to welcome Lee Mina. I'm so glad that you joined the family here. I keep looking for Vince's podcast every Saturday that you've been for weeks now, and I never saw here on Facebook. At the end of my podcast, there'll be a message from Vincent Davis. There is a website that lets you register for his podcast. Also, there's a school you can join. Furthermore, my rooms will have messages of how to get it. Also, you can call in to my office. Let me at 888-888-6582. I'm trying to take my message down. It's not working. I think my computer is finally hurting right now. I have to get a new power supply because all the cables are fried, and I'm holding them and hoping that it will keep my podcasts alive. But now I can't even. Let me hit escape and see if that helps any. Okay, I think I got rid of it. I'm going to put up another message to be a guest on my podcast. Now, there's the number, 888-888-6582. That's the law office of Mr. Davis. And you can call into that and ask for the website for Mr. Davis's podcast on Saturday. Now, you can also email Grace. You can email Grace at vincentwdavis.com and ask her for the link. She's my show producer, Grace is, and I want to thank her for all she does. She also can help you be a guest on my podcast. All you have to do is pick one of my 14 show times, morning or afternoon, Monday through Sunday, and she'll arrange you with a link on StreamYard. That's what I use for an application, StreamYard. I broadcast over YouTube. Now, Leah, I don't know where you're from. If you could give me your city or your county or your country, or you from your state. If you're outside the country, you can give me that too. Now, Savannah further says, yes, absolutely. Those court-appointed attorneys is exactly why my case is where it's at. They don't even try to do their job. I've gone through 6 different trial attorneys. I'm afraid until you hire an attorney with a dependency, family, juvenile law background, you're not going to get your children back. I had to sell my home, and I lost my credit rating, and I sold my home. I also lost one of my 6 children, too, from them retaliating. So I know how hard it is to sacrifice. I know how hard it is. And Savannah, yes, she said, you know that. Now, I know I can't sue them until after that. That was just the one part of the situation I have knowledge on in regards to how to do it. Well, you're lucky, Savannah, not too many people know about how to do appeals. Now, Lee, I have no idea where you're from. I've tried that link. It says it's a Zoom live question and answers, a paid Zoom private questionnaires, not a podcast. Well, I was told that it was free to join. I could be mistaken. Maybe you have to join the school first, which is free to join. Grace, if you hear me, could you maybe answer me the question? Is Vincent's question and answer Zoom meeting a free Zoom meeting, or is it a private? It may be private because you have to register. You may have to register. Sometimes, Savannah, that you represent yourself, that might be the way to go. You know, when you have a court-appointed attorney or any attorney, you no longer can speak to the judge. But if you represent yourself, you can get things across to him. You just got to be careful because the courtroom is full of wolves. these social workers, attorneys, the CPS attorneys are paid a lot of money, and they know all the tricks of the trade of how to work in dependency court. And when you have a crooked judge, it makes it worse too. It makes it worse too. Now, it's free for school members. Okay. I just had a confirmation from CPS Defense Strategies that it's free for school members. So you got to join the school first. And when you join the school, then you sign up for the live question answers at 9:30 on Saturday. But you got to be registered for that too. Oh my, I typed so fast. I apologize if my sentences don't make sense. It's okay, Savannah. You know, your family in here, you can be relaxed, you can let your hair down, and you can listen and enjoy. You don't have to do very much. As I say, you have the options of just being in this podcast and send me emojis and getting follow button and getting notices. Further, if you text a message, all I ask is your first name and the city or county and the state. And if you're from another country, which are many of you are, I like your province and your country also. Try to be as complete as you can about your case. That's the second way. The third way is to be a guest on my podcast. And I'd love to have you as a guest. I can take 9 of you. And all you have to do is send an email to grace@vincentwdavis.com. Now, the fourth way is you can call in. My phone number is live. It's 626-698-0990. You can talk on that phone. And I use Vonage on my phone. That's the application for the phone. And it's my work number directly to my phone. I will answer it. If you call me before my showtime hours or after my podcast hours, I do not answer the phone. It's only available during my showtime when I talk on the phone. Now, if you talk on the phone or you're a guest on my show, you get a free 15-minute private consultation with Mr. Davis. That's something that I've worked out with him to help increase having guests on my podcast and people calling in. Savannah had taken advantage of that. She called in on my phone yesterday, and now she has a private meeting with Vincent Davis, a private Zoom meeting with Mr. Davis for 15 minutes. Now, I have another way I've made arrangement with Mr. Davis is that you can talk to him for 30 minutes at $60. 30 minutes for $60. All you have to do is follow that web link at the bottom of my screen, the ticket that's running. That is a web page. You go there, you pay the $60, and you sign up for a date that would be good for you, and he'll talk to you for 30 minutes about the insights and how to navigate and how to fight CPS and how to get your children back. He is a pit bull of an attorney. You will like him. So those are 2 additional ways. So I count 4 ways right here, or 5 ways. You can talk to Mr. Davis on his podcast. You can call here at 888-888-6582 and retain him. Or you can call on the show on my phone or be a guest on my show, and you could be able to talk to him for 15 minutes. And then you could pay $60 and talk to him for 30 minutes. So those are the ways that you can talk to Mr. Davis. And it's important that you do. It's important that you do. Now I need to catch up with the people calling in. Now, Savannah, who's from Bakersfield, California, says, my judge, I think, is a good person. I know she's doing what she thinks is best, given she's being completely manipulated by my mother Yes, this is the woman. Her mother turned her into CPS and tried to take her child. I know all too well how good it is at when she does. It's sad. Yes, it's sad that your mother would interfere with you. It's sad, Savannah. I really feel for you. Now, Lee Means says, thank you for the clarification at the CPS defense strategy, Vince Davis. I was so confused. Yes, I have 8 rooms. One of them is a Facebook. Excuse me, one is a YouTube. The CPS defense strategy is a YouTube room. You all find them by looking me up at Facebook. And so, yes, I can understand it being so confused. Now, Savannah says, being a guest, how does that work? I only ask because I'm definitely like anti outdoors. I don't have my home. I don't socialize very well, just anxiety really. But if I can, I'll call. I don't mind that. Well, they're going to contact you with a private time, Savannah. All you need to do is have your phone. You gave me your phone number. You gave me your cell. They'll contact you. Excuse me, your email. They'll contact you by email, Savannah. And they'll ask you for this time. And then all you have to do is wait by your phone. You can be indoors, outdoors. And it's all right if you're antisocial or whatever. Don't worry. Mr. Davis is a very patient man. He's a pit bull of attorney, but he's kind. He will talk to you. He will help you, Savannah. Have no fears at all. Now again, my phone number is up. I'm live at 626-698-0990. Lee, I'm still trying to find out what part of the world you're from. I just do that because I try to get a general idea where there are good CPS and bad CPS. And so far, as I say, I've talked to every state, all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., and I've heard nothing but bad CPS stories. There have been 3 social workers on here that told me that their CPS was good, but I'd like to see more social workers on here. There was one from Maryland named Carol, who has a clinical psychology degree. And she further did 6 months of training in Maryland. And she talked for a good 40 minutes about how CPS, that she knows how it's supposed to be worked. And she was horrified to hear that CPS was that corrupt. And it is. No matter what state you're in, it seems their MO is to take your children, keep your children, get the money, and run. They don't care. Fighting CPS is like open heart surgery. That's why I say you need a specialized attorney, somebody like Mr. Davis, who is a family juvenile defense attorney with many years of experience. He will get your kids back. He got my 2 boys back. But CPS is very hard to fight, very, 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 very corrupt. Now, Savannah says, being a guest. Yeah, I already talked to you about that, Savannah. Yes. All right, I'm open to people calling in or saying something more. Savannah says, I would love to. I just gave him the last $2 I had on this short video he posted like 20 minutes ago. So I have to do free one. Understand, Savannah, I know a lot of you are giving stars, and we really appreciate that. We really appreciate the stars. My mother pre-planned the whole thing, all for money, and her CPS ego is making her look good. Absolutely none of my family members speak to me anymore. And that has made it to where I lost every support I had. Well, Savannah, as long as I'm alive and I'm still kicking, I'm a dinosaur at 75, but I'm so glad you're in my room and you are family here. So I'm on twice a day. I've been doing this for over a year. I don't miss holidays either. I celebrate Christmas Eve with you guys and Thanksgiving Day with you guys. The 4th of July, Memorial Day weekend, Labor Day weekend. I do adjust my times to accommodate the special programs I like to participate, like Monday night, Friday Night Lights, which is the high school football. I enjoy watching football, and I used to play it, and both in high school and college, and I miss it. I also play rugby, and I'm also a surfer. I have to go out in the water or my gills dry up. And I have my ritual at 4 o'clock, the dawn patrol, where I check out the surf. If it's up, I'm out. Then I come back, and my nostrils are always full of seawater, and I'm sniffing on the show. So you can tell me when I'm out surfing, because I blow my nose a lot in the morning. Now, Savannah says, thank you. I'm owed a thanks to Anthony. If it weren't for him, I would have never known about your videos. It's all too exhausting. I am surprised I've kept myself together this long. I think by coming into a podcast with somebody who wants to help you will help you stay alive. Your life is important. Your children need you alive. Someday they'll reach out to you. Someday that they will come. I have 2 lost little girls. My daughter was taken with my 2 boys into foster care. They were trafficking, which is illegal. They were alienated. I did get my 2 boys back, but I lost my 12-year-old daughter. My wife and I lost her. She was a beautiful, beautiful daughter, and I miss her so much. But what had happened was we had a case going where my wife's sister and husband wanted to adopt our daughter, just adopt her daughter. And we didn't want that to happen because she's our daughter. She's our responsibility. We created that beautiful daughter, gave her a beautiful middle name, Hanalei, which is my ideal of Eden in Kauai. And she was told by the social worker who was on the stand talking about how great my wife's sister and husband would be as parents. And my attorney, Vincent Davis, asked a very important question. Besides being a great parent, as you said, has they ever been involved in CPS? And the social worker very proudly said, no, they've not been. Then my attorney, who's pretty smart, said, I have a question for you, as you pulled out a folder of 30 reports and started reading them one by one. There are police reports of domestic violence at their place. Not only was it domestic violence, it was physical domestic violence. They're hitting each other. That's not a safe environment for a child to be raised in. And we embarrassed the social group because she got caught in a lie. She committed perjury on the stand. That is a suable lawsuit. And she knew it. She left the room. And when she did talk to us again, she said, you'll never see your daughter. So she had her daughter emancipate herself at 12 years of age. That means she divorced her from mom and dad, from her 3 brothers, her 2 sisters, her grandparents, both sets, and her aunts and uncles. Divorced all of us. Then she changed her name completely, ruin that beautiful name, Honolulu. And then her next thing was to seal her birth certificate so she could be adopted by the foster care people that are adopting her. And she got a new Social Security card, which is illegal. She's drawing money from both Social Security cards. And all that is wrong. And then she, of course, got adopted by these people that are very wealthy. And that was at age 12. She's 22 now. She still doesn't talk to us. In fact, she had a Thanksgiving meal at her foster parents. She invited our two sons, which were her brothers. I said, sure, they can come. I encouraged my sons to still keep in touch with her sister. And I'm proud to say that. But we were not invited as parents, so we've been divorced from her ever since age 12. Also, our older children who have families of their own are no longer seeing us or talking to us. It's like we're something evil or something. And it's all because of me losing my job. I am feeling so bad because it's been a domino effect. Losing a job is the worst thing for me. It really is. Now, Savannah says, I didn't mean taking my life, I given up my issues that once I was pregnant with my son. I can't do that to my son. I just meant as far as not freaking on my mother, the courts. I'm glad you had your baby. Babies should not be easily aborted. I don't believe that abortion should be a form of birth control. That's wrong. It should be a woman's decision. And if the man is involved, he should be part of it. And they need to make the most intelligent children's decision. I think a child should be given up for adoption. Because there's a lot of people that love a child. And children that are adopted sometimes grow up really great. So those are my views. They may not be the same as yours. But I don't believe that abortion. Now, there are extreme cases where the mother may be at risk. That is the decision for the mother, not for the courts or older men or women in the courts or Congress decide of how that works. Anyway, I'm glad you have your child, Savannah. Now, Fazana says, I walked out the last few proceedings in absolute leaving, just sobbing. And I'm so sorry to hear that that's terrible. I can't imagine. It's okay. I mean, we all have life there. I believe in God, the creator of all things. And he gave his son to sacrifice so much, Jesus Christ. So I pray to God. I have a simple religion. I follow the 10 Commandments. And I pray to God every Sunday. And I also pray to him all the other times to help out people. Now, Savannah says the social worker don't like more for calling them and how they're treating me and just following rules and lying in the reports about Texas with me just to retaliate my acting like for fear for me. That's sad. Those social workers, first of all, you should never talk to social workers. Second of all, you should never see them. You should never surrender your children. The only way they can get your child is you give them permission, or they're in extreme danger and you are arguing or violence is taking place, they will intervene. Also, they have to have a warrant if they're going to take your child. And the warrant's got to be very spelled out, very specific. It's very important. They have a legitimate warrant there. Well, hello there, Cruel. I haven't seen you in a couple days, but welcome. I think Cruel's name is Felicia. I think your name is Felicia. I forgot, but I think it is Felicia. And I think Felicia is from the drum roll. Boy, I think you're from Felicia. You're from Macon, Georgia. I'm trying to remember. And thank you, Sarah, for saying amen. God bless all of you. God bless every one of you. You're loving people. You may have done some mistakes, but they can be corrected. They've found that family reunification is the best thing for kids because the biological parents are the best parents. Studies have shown the biological parents. And the child protection system is supposed to do family reunification. I don't care what President Clinton signed into law. The incentive stinks because there's so less of family reunification. It's wrong that an agency is governed by money. That is wrong. And I think that is really, really, really sad. Really, really, really bad. Savannah further says, I don't talk to them now. I figured it out the hard way. The social worker didn't even have the warrant when she took him. She just told me she was taking him into custody and the sheriff with her. That's a typical MO thing. But all you do is you tell the sheriff, you cannot take my child unless you have a warrant. Furthermore, if you're in the house, don't answer the door. Don't answer the door. And if you're outside and you run into them, tell them, time out. I need to get my attorney present. You're responsible to have an attorney present anytime you're in a legal matter. So you take their name and you take the badge number of the sheriff and you look at the ID of the social worker, make sure it matches the name. And you said you call them back and meet. But you don't want to meet at your home and you don't want to meet at their office. You meet at a public place like McDonald's or Starbucks so you can record everything, so you can document everything. Those are real important things there. Felicia says, I remember a social worker saying, I am to give my rights to my children up. You never give your rights to your children. You fight for that. And if they take them away, you do appeal within 15 days or sooner. Felicia further says, and if they refuse, that my children will be a part in the system. Yeah, they do trickery. They tell you things that are not true. They'll tell you things that are not true. They'll make you sign paperwork with promises of things, Felicia. But also, I don't remember giving up my rights. I don't remember signing a paper or answering under oath. Yeah, you need to make sure you got all the documents. It's really important you put the document notebook together. It's a notebook, 8.5 by 11, and it's 3 inches thick. And you put subject dividers in there and you organize all your documents, really important. And one of the most important document is called the, take care, son, love you, is called the incident time log. The incident time log. And there on the first line on the notebook paper, you put the date, the time, and the locations. I cut up one of the rolls for you. It's in 3 pieces. Okay. I haven't had a chance to cut up the other one. It's easy to digest. Now, Savannah's back here. I wish I knew that at the time the social worker manipulated me into signing or thinking she was never taking him. She told that all the way to the point of her showing up on my doorstep to take him. Well, you don't answer the door. If you're outside, you say, "Time out. I need my attorney present." You need your attorney present. God bless and beautiful you. Love you. Okay. Now we have a new person here, David Samantha Bernard. Welcome, David. If I have an open CPS case in one county and then give birth to a different county, but the county that I know an open case in files a petition, even though are saying the other county has my child, what will happen for all you parents out there when your children are taken from you? When they're taken from you, you do not have any more children. I know that's harsh, but CPS will take your other children as soon as they're born. So you got to be careful having children in other counties and stuff. And if you happen to have a child, then you need to give them with one of your relatives that you can trust to watch over and raise that child until you get your CPS case over, because they will have taken it. And again, I welcome David, but I have no idea what part. If you could tell me your city or county or state or country you're from. Which court would have jurisdiction? The first county that took your child would have jurisdiction over the other county. But the other county, you got to be careful because they're in cahoots. They work together. They're not your friends. They're not going to work for the best interests of the child. They want the money. Remember, my children were taken into custody and the CPS was getting $20,000 per child every month from the state. That's $60,000 a month they were getting for one child. Samantha says, I would have even talked to them now. That's because I know what I know. But it was the first time I ever dealt with CPS and social workers, so I had no idea. I did the same mistake, Savannah. That's why I'm sharing it with all the listeners here. You got to be careful. They're not to be trusted. They're not to be trusted. Now, Felisa, who's cruel, that's her handle. She's in Ventura County. I'm sorry, Felicia. I thought it was Macon, Georgia. She's in Ventura County, California. Ventura County, California. And she's been on here before, Felicia. And I'm glad to have you. There's some of you that need to tell me what city and state you're from, or if you're from another country, I welcome you. I welcome you. Now, Felicia says, I asked my court-appointed attorneys and social workers for a discovery of service logs. They're not going to give it to you. They're not going to give it to you. I still have yet to see any of that. You can put a request into the clerk of the court, and you have to pay per page unless you're low income and you get them for free. But you can put a request in that way to get your documents. I still have yet to see any of that understood. I only have the case plan and reports made through the case. Well, you can demand it's the Freedom of Information Act. You have a lawsuit going on. you are entitled to any documents related to this lawsuit going on. You need to tell your attorney to fight for your paperwork, but they're court-appointed attorneys, they don't care. But you still need to push it to them. You need to put them on notice. That was before my dependency proceeding has occurred. She took my son before the initiation of the dependency. Wow. Well, you gave permission. It's like you didn't know better. You didn't know CPS. Now, I have about 5 minutes left of my podcast. Or actually, I'm actually at my 11 o'clock hour. So I want to thank all of you for texting me your comments. You guys are part of my family, you know. I know you're low income, Felicity, but thank you, Felicity from Ventura, California. Thank you, Savannah from Macon, Georgia. And thank you, David and Samantha from wherever you're from. And again, thank you, Felicia. I'm trying to go through all the people. Hopefully I did not miss anybody. And thank you, Lee. I don't know where you're from either, but thank you for joining my podcast. So I'm going to end it. I want to say God bless you all. Do not stop fighting for your children. They're very important and precious to you. Do not give up. I'm here twice a day. I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There will be a brief message from my attorney, Vincent Davis, at the end of my podcast. God bless y'all, and this is Bob Pace signing.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out. Join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.